This session is being recorded, just so everyone knows. This is May 25th, 2021. And I would like to thank everybody for coming this evening. And it's pretty much an open discussion. But one of the topics is boomers or seniors. People have been asking, what is the right terminology? Is it EXP Seniors Network, or should it be the EXP Boomers Network, or something else for that matter? And the reason for that is boomers, the baby boomers, are now 55, 56 years old, because it ended in 1964. So from 1946 to 1964 is the boomer generation. And then we start something else. So if you were born in 65, you're 56 years old right now. You're not part of the boomer generation.
What are they a part of?
I forget what the name of that next group is, but it's another group. And you know, as we all retire at some point, it'll be the next generation. And at some point it'll be millennials. I won't be around, but it'll be millennials by then. And my kids will be seniors or whatever they're going to be called. Millennials will switch to something else then. But just open for discussion. Tonight is all about Q&A, just answering questions, helping each other out, trying to understand the seniors market, what's going on in the market right now as we all, you know, kind of work through different things. So if people have questions, so it looks like 1965 is Gen X. Thank you very much for that. And it's just, you know, let's figure out maybe what the right terminology should be, or could be, and then also figure out, you know, what questions people might have about the seniors market today.
If I might, I came in just after Patricia was talking about the HECM loan there, and you said something about getting comfortable with presenting it to your clients.
Yeah.
Ted Butler did that presentation from Mutual Uniclaw. He is.
Yeah, I was on that.
Yeah, so he said one thing that I've found useful is that there really is about 24 different ways that you can financially use this tool in, you know, making a purchase. So everybody's financial situation is different, but if you could make more, save more, you know, buy more, any of those things, wouldn't you want to hear more about it? So, and then
Yeah.
I just turn it over to him. So it's like,
Yeah, that sounds like a good way to present it. Yeah.
I think we get stuck too much in just saying it's a reverse mortgage and everybody's head goes somewhere. But if you say it has 24 different financial options available in it, it kind of like, whoa, well, wait a minute. What am I missing out on?
Yeah.
So, and then as from my perspective, there's many different things we could talk about in terms of the baby boomer and what we call them. I have a magazine here where they've called them the third act. I've heard it called the, you know, things like gracefully aging, I mean, there's so many different names that they've got out there to call the seniors that I'm not sure. All I know is it seems like nobody wants to be called a senior.
Right. I think boomer sounds better than senior.
Anybody else? Comments? Questions?
The third act is probably an aging with confidence, she calls it.
Connie, what was that?
Hi,
Did you have something to say?
no,
Oh, okay. Any other thoughts? Anybody else have any thoughts about names or?
How about let's just put it out there, the old geezers.
I wanted to call it the Old People's Network, but it didn't go over that well.
yeah.
We could just do geezers now.
Uh-huh.
Mm. The boomers is too specific because the whole mission of EXP Seniors Network is for folks that are working with seniors or they are a senior
Yeah,
and so the minute that you put boomer into the title, now we're pretty much saying you got to be a boomer is the way I look at it. When we started back a year ago, I wanted active adults.
yeah. I was thinking more as a marketing tool to boomers, not that necessarily we would say that we were all boomers ourselves.
Yeah, and then I was told active adults is everybody. So I was like, okay, never mind.
No, I think active adults are just, it's a euphemism for seniors in a retirement center that are not sitting on the front porch in the rocking chair.
And that's exactly what we are here in our community. So that's why we use that terminology a lot. So.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Time to let the dog in the house.
Just contrary, I just don't like to be put in a group myself, but. So who are you gonna market to? Just put out there, anybody 55 plus.
Yeah, and we had talked about the 55 plus being in the title.
Right.
But, then you're back to the 35 that sells to the seniors didn't feel included. Is the way the upper management looked at it.
Can't say senior market or anything like that.
No, that goes back to what Debbie was talking about is we have folks who are in their 20s, 30s, 40s that sell to the market and still learning about the market too.
Marketing
But
to
if we-
55 plus.
If you put marketing in the title, doesn't it sound more like you're marketing to that age group as opposed to the people who are in the group are that age?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still won't go over, huh?
Well, but that's the problem. Our group from an official EXP group is supposed to be all inclusive for anybody that's working with seniors or whatever we want to call them, and or they are a 55 or consider themselves a senior. And
Well, you
then
just said
they
you
may
just
not
said it.
work.
You said working with
Yeah.
seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they may be 65 and never touch a senior market. So there's our problem. So it's and or. So
But working
I
with
don't,
seniors to me that means anyone can work with them, but maybe it's how to work with seniors. I don't know.
Oh, you make a good point.
Well, it sounds like they've yet to come up with a positive sounding name for that segment. Like when you think first time buyers, you think younger. Or you think people that are newly arrived to the country, or but when you think seniors, you automatically think, uh, gray hair, end of the working career, like,
No hair.
yeah. But there's no word, like maybe you could say, you say first time buyer or multiple buyer would be, that can be somebody who's gone through, right? Or purchasing your last property, or,
But believe it or not, there are a
Mhm.
lot of seniors who have never owned a home. That would be first-time homeowners,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
People who live in major cities, New York City, LA, Chicago, that have lived in buildings their whole life. Now they want to retire to wherever, Florida, Arizona, Texas. Now they want to buy a house, or, for them, it is a first-time experience for them. I mean, there's a lot of people who come to Florida, in many cases, who've never owned a home. They've always lived in an apartment or a condo.
Okay, Don, a condo's a home.
Yeah, I know. I realize I said that after the fact.
Well, and what we're really looking at is niche marketing for the mature,
Well, what about other,
buyer.
how do other industries describe? Like, there's nothing unique that other industries use to describe a seniors market, like that niche, right?
I think seniors is it,
Senior, yeah, that sounds like pretty much it.
because
Well,
it's open to anybody and everybody.
Well, it's been called the 55 plus, but there's really different things that happen in different stages of the 55 plus, right? It's like, if you're talking to a 9-year-old, it's a little different than the conversation you're having with the 55-year-old on their housing needs. So. And
Glad you
my
clarified
my
that,
issue-
because I was going to say, I know some that are like talking to a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Yep. And they're, it's also been my struggle too, that there really is the market, because there are so many boomers that it represents a good majority of the market. So what are we really doing that's different? It's,
How about marketing to those who shall not be named?
yeah, there you go.
We'll call it boomerang then.
There you go.
I'm okay with seniors if other people are okay with seniors too. To me, it's just a name.
Yeah, I think it serves us fine within EXP. I think we all sort of need to make a choice as to how we, what niche part of it we want to have in our own marketing, to call it anything differently. Maybe open ourselves up to calling it more than one thing, so we don't pigeonhole anybody.
I think you just need to make it clear that the group itself is for all ages. But the focus is marketing to 55 plus or seniors.
Right.
Let's senior focus.
That's a thought.
Well, if you did put marketing in there, Don and Debbie, what about marketing to the mature seller and buyer?
There we go.
Yeah. I mean, I'm open for suggestions. I'm also open to leaving it the way it is. Somebody just has been asking about and making a statement that seniors has been overused. People are not liking being called seniors and things like that. And that's the reason for the topic.
Call them juniors.
Oh, juniors.
Junior squared.
Just don't call me late for dinner and we're okay.
Yeah. I don't like being a senior either, but I have to admit that's what I am.
Yeah. We are who we are.
Yeah.
Better
Second
than the
is-
alternative, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just don't call me honey or dear.
I know, I hate being called dear. Oh,
How about sweetie?
Oh, no.
I get called.
And
that. There's one
I
of our.
I can
friends
actually
calls me
get people
sweetie.
that get on me like, well, what's the problem there? It's like, excuse me.
All right, new topic. Who's got a question? Looks like, why can't it be called 55 plus age group? 55 plus age group?
It sounds like you need to be 55 plus to be in it.
yeah.
I think just marketing to seniors, to me, makes the most sense. Senior marketing niche.
Or what about senior marketing segment? I think we're all stumped at the fact that this is a large market, a lucrative market, and it still has a negative name attached to it.
And that's what I think people are saying about it, is that it is one of the largest and certainly most wealthiest groups of our population, not just here in the US, but in the world. And we're struggling with a name, you know, as to what's a good name, what's appropriate, and things like that. And I guess some people take it to heart where some of us don't.
I have a question. So what market is really we are aiming for is like 55 plus? Is that from the year 1964 and 1946 age bracket, or what year? Because we can just like in most of the group that I've noticed in my age group, like when I join on a certain group on Facebook, and they say 40 plus or 50 plus beauty aging for 55 plus. So that's how they describe it. So it doesn't like I don't think that it sounds bad, like, you know, we're like a boomer or whatever. I think I'm Gen Z. So we have to put the number so that I know what, like I joined this beauty routine. And so I'm gonna be 50 next year. So instead of joining 40 plus, I joined 50 plus because that's where my skin belongs to.
Right?
So I think maybe we should just put the number like 55 plus or whatever. Just a thought.
So what about somebody who's 30 years old that wants to sell to that market? Because
I think that's why we should say marketing to 55 plus,
okay.
because that's what we're doing. That's what we want to know. How do we do it?
But then it's back
Well-
to the 65-year-old that sells to the first-time home buyers that are 35, that want to
Well, I
be,
do that all the time.
yeah. But this was a big controversy at the very beginning because who can belong to EXP seniors was one of the original questions. Well, anybody can.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So naming it to me is hard because what do we say? EXP anyone? And you know, but it's a thing that we're gearing ourselves for somebody that is a senior or somebody that is selling to a senior, but there's no way to politely say that. And go
I think just
yeah, you go-
marketing to 55 plus, anybody that wants to market to 55 plus, this is where they need to be.
Right. Right. The thing
Because I
is,
think most of us that are 55 plus kind of have a good idea of what we want to see.
there you go. Yeah, that. And also the thing is, the way I look at it is like, if I am, like I'm younger than 55, right? If I'm looking to buy something that has like like I'm in a group, I have a client or a buyer that is like about that age, I would refer it to the people that knows what you guys are looking for. Because if I'm going to sell it, if I have a buyer of a younger group, I know we can sell them property, but they might have certain things that we can't provide for them. The same thing as Lowe's, what I've noticed in some people, they have their name like Provate Specialties. So what that means that she will only sell Provate. She cannot sell to other properties. But those are just basically expertise. So if I see a 55 plus group, I would, it's not like you can't sell to the younger group. It just says, oh, they probably are like focusing or they have more knowledge on this area. So me as a person, as an agent, I would gear towards like, hey, I'm going to contact these people because they probably have a better knowledge of what I don't know. Then I would refer my, I will send referral to that group. If it's like younger and they will be looking something, like I have a 21-year-old daughter who's really different in styles and her ways, and she's going to buy a house. I'm going to have to ask like, you know, it would be challenging for me because her choice and her style and her taste is different from me. So I think that it's not like you guys are segregating yourself from being a 55 plus market. It's just like you're just you appeal more because you have, the way it looks for me is that you have more knowledge on that area. That would be what I would see.
I think most bigger problem is not age differences so much as the fact that she's your daughter. Because basically when I'm selling somebody a house, I don't pay any attention to the fact that my preference frequently is not what they would pick, but it's my job to go find what they would want. So.
Okay. All good points. Next topic. What are you seeing in your market today as far as senior communities? Is it like everything else where there's nothing available? Few homes, multi-offers, mostly condos, mostly single-family homes? And let's not forget renters. There's lots of senior rental communities that are popping up all over the place.
We're actually starting to see that. I'm seeing in less expensive parts outside of the city where they're building seniors rental units, which would be you know, 1 story, about 2,000 square feet rental apartments with parking, outdoor parking, and then a small common area. So it's kind of like a low rise, you know, 1 level rental, right? And it's proven to be very lucrative. There's a guy east of Toronto who started building some, and he'll build them with like on a piece of property that we usually put residential housing, like with 6 units, right? And the rents he's getting even outside of the city are, you know, 2,000 a month plus. And he's actually a realtor, so he actually sells some of his tenants' homes, and then they move into his rental property. But that's what he's building them specifically, like with wider corridors, you know, with the showers where there's no entry, barrierless showers and things like that that appeal to seniors. So we're seeing that where people are cashing out that are in the city and then renting or buying a smaller property outside of the city, right? But the rental ones are what I find interesting.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
So how do we play in that space?
Well, the guy that I was reading about was a realtor who's situated in a town about maybe, you know, I'd say about 85 miles or so east of Toronto. And land is cheaper there. So that's what he started doing. He took a chance And he developed a property with 6 rental units, specifically geared towards seniors. So he was involved, like I said, in some of his tenants. He actually sold their property and then helped them transition into his rental property.
Now in Toronto, can you get, I know certain markets, there's really not much money in it to do rentals. In Toronto, is it a good market to do rentals?
In the city, it's hard. It's hard. But once you go outside of the city,
It's-
right, with land prices cheaper, right? Like this guy was getting, for 6 units, he's getting 15,000 a month, right? So that works out to, 180 a year. And the land is significantly cheaper, right?
Okay.
The construction costs are reasonable too, because it's all 1 story and there's no basements. Right? Because that's what usually like the mechanical room, he keeps it all on 1 level. So that keeps the construction costs down, because up here, usually all houses have basements, because that's where we put our mechanicals, right? So there's a cost involved there, and there's a cost involved, obviously, the higher you go, 2nd story, 3rd story, right? So he's managed to keep his construction costs reasonable with the cheaper land and keeping everything on 1 level and no basements. So that's proved pretty lucrative. But again, outside of the city, because the land costs are cheaper. Right? Within the city, it's different. Like everybody wants to go up because you're building on smaller plots of land and the only place to go is up.
Gotcha. Dan, what's it like in your market?
So I'm in the Olympia, Washington, about an hour south of Seattle at the Capitol. And mainly I'm noticing senior apartments going up. And that's about all as far as anything new. We're kind of in a tough area to build in, with a lot of regulations around the land and fees and things. So not a lot of senior housing going up. And then of course, with the tight supply of homes, a lot of offers on existing, whatever properties do come to market. So, that's kind of about all that's happening down here or over here. Don't see a lot in the way of condos, things like that, where they might be able to get some affordable housing. We do have, several mobile parks, and so that they can get, less housing there, but the lot fees are going up quite a bit. There's, as you know, investors are very heavy into mobile parks now, and so buying, the ones that were affordable are kind of getting bought out, fixed up, and lots being increased, lot fees increased. So just for comparison, probably 550 would be on the lower end now, and then they go all the way up to into the 900s for a lot fee, depending on if you're by the water or not. But it seems like a lot of the people that have contacted me are on the Social Security fixed incomes, and so it's really hard to find something for them to move into because they don't really qualify for much on that income level.
Thank you. Shonda, I hope I didn't butcher your name by any, not my intention at all. But what's it like in your market? Where are you located?
Just to unmute.
Shonda, you have to unmute in order to talk. Left-hand corner of the screen, bottom left-hand corner. Okay. Soledad, what's it like in your market? Hello? Soledad. All right, Connie, what's it like in your market? Oh,
Hello,
you're on mute.
I muted myself finally. Sorry.
Gotcha. Connie, hold on a second. We'll come back to you. Go ahead, Soledad. What's
Oh,
it like in your market?
Yeah, in my market, it's wild out here.
Now, where are you located?
I'm located in California in San Joaquin County, which is like 1 hour away from Sacramento and 1 hour away from San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah. So
How's the senior market there?
the senior market is I mean, seniors right now don't want to move because housing is so tight. Where are they gonna go? And so some of them are moving out of state, going all over the place. But some still they're reserved in terms of, they want to stay here.
Okay, so you're seeing the same thing I think many other communities are. Sellers are holding the reins back,
Mhm,
debating whether or not to sell
mhm.
because they don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah, and I mean, it's even going to other states that they're facing the same thing as here. I mean, it's a tight market. They hear from their friends who already moved out. So
Right, so they're gonna sell high and they're gonna buy high.
exactly.
I understand, just had that conversation a little while ago in another group session. Connie, what's it like in your area?
Sorry, this is Yushanda.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't able to get to the computer.
Not a problem.
Yeah, you know what? Similar situation as Soledad. I'm here in San Diego, and it's just crazy. The seniors, they're not able to afford what's out there right now, and some of them are deciding to sell, but like Soledad was saying, they're moving to other states. Arizona is a popular place, Texas, getting out of California because of the prices of homes and taxes and all of that. So yeah, the market is really crazy right now.
They're coming to Florida and raising our prices.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Tennessee is a popular place, apparently.
Yep.
Tennessee's a great place.
Tennessee, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Texas, the property taxes are pretty high compared to California. Although the prices are very high in California compared to perhaps Texas or parts of Texas.
Is that
Depends on where you go. What were you saying?
is that where you are, Connie, in Texas?
I'm in California.
California.
I'm in Southern California. A lot of people here in Southern California who are seniors aren't necessarily going to the senior spots. Although if they are, it's really expensive. And what is expensive there's one place that's actually a few miles from me, not that far. You have to pay cash to move in. And let's say you get a small place, it could be $125,000, which is way cheap compared to other housing, for regular people. But this is the senior community. It's called Leisure World. But they have a very high, depending on what section you live in, a high HOA, because they provide a lot of things and a lot of activities and a clubhouse and a this and a that. And, so the HOA is pretty high. And you've already paid cash, so all that you're paying really is the HOA and your property taxes. So I don't know, it's like another one that's higher even, and they used to be called Leisure World. South County is now called Laguna Woods. And I've seen places for $5,000 that are like really small, like a room, not even bedroom with, a place for a couch and maybe a place to eat. But, you can also eat with the group, I guess. But it goes from that all the way up to, you know, a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom condo. But your HOA is very expensive. So I don't know. It's like
Define
really
very
expensive.
expensive.
HOA,
Yeah.
$2,200. Let me,
Wow.
Excuse me.
and that's at Leisure World. At Laguna Woods is even, let's see, I even have them here.
For $150,000 unit?
Yeah, but it's because they have all those activities that you can participate in, et cetera, et
I
cetera.
got 100 swimming pools, 58 golf courses.
Uh-huh.
And
Well,
ours is
here's one.
$164 a month.
Here's one is, the list price for this unit is $69,000. It's 1,100 square feet. That's pretty good for the area because the area is very high, way higher than 69,000. And we're talking in the area of 500,000 to $1 million, $1.5 million sometimes. But this is Laguna. You have to, you know, be a certain age. You have to follow all these rules. And the HOA is $2,332 a month.
Why
But
is
the
it
amenities
so
are a
bad?
pool, spa, hot tub, golf course, tennis courts, bocce ball court, other courts, horse trails, gym. And some of these might cost you a little bit more, but they also pay for cable TV, the rec room, electricity, maintenance on the grounds, trash, utilities. There's pet rolls. There's security. There's controlled access into the complex. So you're paying for all of that with your HOA.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
Sounds good. Seems
it's good and it's not good.
Yeah, it's
because-
awfully expensive compared to what you pay for the unit.
Right.
Your monthly expenses.
Well, okay, the highest one that's for sale right now is just under $300,000. But the HOA would probably be similar. Let me look at it. The HOA for that place is, oh, this one only says 602 monthly. I don't know why. Yeah, that might be for the guy who lives there, not the one who's moving in.
Yeah, grandfathered in.
Yeah.
Kenya, what's it like in your market?
I can pretty much concur with Connie because I'm in California as well, Los
Ah.
Angeles.
Gotcha, so not that far away.
Yeah, so the people, you know, the seniors around me, of course, they want to stay in their homes as long as possible and everything. So I don't know. I mean, I live in a condo and we probably have about, I would say 50% of the homeowners here are seniors and they've been here 25, 30 plus years. They've raised children here.
Right.
And from the looks of it, doesn't look like they're gonna go anywhere anytime soon. So,
Well, they probably have a good deal. If they bought that long ago, they probably bought for $92,000 or something.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. They bought it, you know, way under 50,000.
Yeah, and now you can't find a place. I'm looking for my sister out in LA County and even in the Valley here in Southern California. And I can't, I'm just, it's unbelievable how much stuff is, how much homes are. Condos, you can't find anything under 600,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything good.
I'm right here in Inglewood where they built the new NFL stadium.
Oh, so your property's going up.
Yeah, so everything is going up and everything. But like I said, I don't foresee many of the seniors around here doing anything anytime soon.
They can't afford to move.
No.
Martha, what's it like in your market?
I'm in Tampa Bay area, Pinellas County, which is on the Gulf. Pinellas County has been built out since basically the 80s. So we don't have a lot of land, if any, you have to tear something down to build something up. Our HOA fees are nothing like California. So there's just same lack of supply. We've got some nice senior communities. There's one north of here that's around a golf course, and they have a combination of villas and houses and on a lake, and they've got some condos, and the prices aren't that bad. You can find somebody to sell you one. So the same thing, nobody wants to sell because where would they go?
Sell high and go rent.
Yeah,
Just
well,
saying.
that's what I've done. We sold our condo last year and we're renting. So,
Till the bubble bursts.
well, we were gonna just rent for a year, but then we decided, well, maybe we'll just stay here another year. We'll see.
Right.
I don't think we can wait for the bubble to burst.
Oh, it'll be here soon enough. Just
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yep.
I'm not Marie Fee. Would that be right? Would I be saying that name right? Marie Fee? Catherine, what's it like in your area? All right, anything else we would like to talk about tonight? Any questions, anything else we can discuss?
So I want to ask a question. So we heard the same thing over and over and over. They don't want to sell because they don't have any place to go. So what do we do to encourage sellers to sell? And how do we find a place for them to go? So California, if they're going to a different place, you might have a chance because they're going to Arizona where they're building like mad. Tennessee's still building. I don't know Texas very well. But what do we do to encourage sellers to sell? Our market, Donald didn't ask what our market's like. We're down to 86 listings in the MLS in the community that I work exclusively. That's active listings. So my question is, how do I get these people to decide to move back to their kids, to go to assisted living, independent living, nursing home, wherever they need to go next, that I have a house to sell?
Well, Debbie, my answer to that is some of the services that I think they're stuck on oftentimes their stuff. So, there's companies out there that I learn about every day that can certainly help them. There's senior movers. There's a company yesterday I learned about this called, I think it's Lugs, that immediately comes and picks up whatever you want and delivers it to wherever you need it to go. They'll also take junk. So it's finding those things that help them and help them make the decisions, like what would be the timeline if I had the perfect thing for you? What would you want? And they just they're comfortable where they are, so it's just hard for them to make the decision to move, and they're waiting for that crisis oftentimes at that point,
Well,
depending on
and
where you're at. But
and that's what I'm seeing here is COVID made the fact that they don't want to be in a communal type setting because they don't want to be locked down, not able to do the freedom things that they thought they could do, even if that means playing bingo or eating dinner with somebody. My dad just ended up in a nursing home 3-4 weeks ago, and he's 97. And the world just come to an end for his lifestyle. He didn't have a choice, but the people here were thinking about it 2 years ago. And now everybody has put that on hold because of COVID, because they don't want to be locked down. And that's the conversations I'm having over and over with the people that I thought was going to move.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're out of work.
Yeah,
I mean, we have as Debbie said, we have 85 or 87 homes out of 80,000 homes. That's it.
mhm.
And
That's,
there's 300 plus realtors and almost 300 agents
uh-huh,
trying to feed off of 85, 87 homes to sell. Now, that's only the MLS, but the other side, the developer, they might have 80 homes to sell. So we have 165, 170 homes out of, again, 80,000 homes to sell.
you need listings, right? And those people,
Yeah.
those people came there to retire. What's the average staying time for, somebody
No,
that
12 years,
enters the
not
community?
12 years, but
12 years.
the problem, yeah, but the problem is, once again, well, we thought we were going to move back up near the kids, but we don't want to be locked down. We were going to go to this state and, we're afraid in the fall they're going to lock down again. Or, we can walk around and be outside and play golf here, and up north we'd be locked down. So there's a whole lot of fear that COVID's going to come back and hit us in the butt and lock us down again. And Florida was probably the one out of a handful of friendly states as far as not being locked down long.
Mhm.
So we're having people move here just because of that. But now we don't have anything selling.
It's that finding that pain point, I guess, isn't it? Like, and
And it's the pain point for everybody, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the people who live here. It's the people who work here.
yeah,
So, and I'm sure that's in many other areas too. You're finding that inventory is so low, or getting to a point that it's so low that you have multiple agents. Instead of just being 2 or 3 agents going for a listing, you might have 5 or 10,
yeah.
because now they're shopping all of our commissions around too,
Mhm.
right?
Well, but it's also back to 2005 timeframe, and Patricia can relate. I'm sure if she was around, that seller doesn't need you.
Right.
Seller could put a sign, put it on Zillow of the world, and have it sold without trying too hard, even with the ugliest photos. So there may be 10 people trying to get that listing, but they'll get 10 different opinions of what it's worth and decide what to put it on Zillow with, or a limited service in our market.
It's an
Are
interesting time.
people seeing a lot of limited service companies popping up in their areas?
Do you even have limited service in other states?
Yes.
Yeah, Martha, I know you would, because you're Tampa.
Yeah.
Do other states have that limited services? I'll put your listing into the computer for X dollars, and you provide me 12 photos. And if you want 24 photos, it's going to be Y dollars. And they don't do anything. They just put it into the MLS, and the seller takes care of all responsibilities technically. What happens is the buyer agent does everything.
Yeah, that happens here too. We've got issues with, well, Redfin is here, so that,
Yeah, years ago, it used to be Assist to Sell was a big company that existed. I haven't seen them for years, so I don't know if they're still around, but they were national. But So other
Thank
people
you.
made the same comment. Yeah, other people made the same comment. You're low in your inventory. How are you going to try to get inventory in your market?
Mm.
Well, I think there's some value in marketing around the people that are listed, you know, to find other people that might jump on that bandwagon, because I know here in my own neighborhood, people had no idea that their property was worth as much as I just sold a recent listing for. So I go, wow, if that's the case, let me get on board and sell my property. So I think, you know, there are some of them that are ready to make that leap, and then there's others that aren't quite ready.
So the circle marketing,
Yeah, the circle marketing, kind of focus on your neighborhood and, you know, what you got going within your sphere, I think is almost the most important. And
who
pass.
else has got some ideas?
And the reason for the suggestion is, I'm sure we're not the only ones in the same boat. Everybody's looking for listings right now. I think, you know, one of the things to go after right now is to just start talking to people about what their homes are worth. I think a lot of people don't understand what their home is really worth, especially in the market today. The thing again is, where do they go? And trying to get people to understand what their options are. I think at this point, we're almost putting our consulting hats on and say, here's the real options you have right now. You go into a rental, you go into assisted living, you go into, in some cases, memory care. Some cases, you know, the kids have room in their house. But at least you're getting the most out of your home. What I would think would be the most value for your home right now versus waiting a few years. It might not be there. It might be double. If I had a crystal ball, I'd make a lot of money, but I don't. And that's really, I think, the gist of Debbie's question is what is everybody else going to do? What are you doing that maybe somebody else can use that idea where they are?
Hey, Don, I have to take off, so
Yeah, we've got 3 minutes left. Thanks, Teresa.
you're welcome. Have an awesome week.
You too.
I think as long as people's health is still good, they're gonna stay put. I had at our old condo, we have a neighbor who is getting close to 90. But, you know, she's got a Gulfront condo that she bought in the 70s. And she's got money. She can afford to have somebody come in. She doesn't like it, but she can. So she said, why should I move? Except that those of us who used to do things for her aren't there anymore. So,
Well, maybe we market to empty nesters, tell them how much that their house is worth and see how that goes. Empty nesters aren't necessarily seniors.
right.
I think this is something we need to figure out. Maybe we figure it out as a group.
I think we need to change this instead of marketing to seniors, selling to seniors is finding properties for seniors. Finding places for seniors to live.
Okay.
So we have a community that really hasn't taken off yet, but it's kind of like, I think, was it Dan that mentioned in Canada, the realtor did the all rental. So it's a neighborhood of all rentals. That's the big sign they have. Now, they didn't say anything about seniors, but I could see where seniors say, okay, find me a rental that I'm comfortable with, and then I'll sell. And so I think that to me is an avenue to go after here, because we're getting a lot of apartment complexes, which may not be the answer, but we have a lot of rental homes here too. So that's an avenue I'm going after. They may want to stay here, but not want to maintain anymore the home. So try to take them into a rental or find them that independent living that's not going to lock down in the fall.
All right, everybody, I want to honor everyone's time. It's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. And I want to just thank everybody for coming this evening, providing your input, sharing your wisdom, and have a great night.
Thanks,
Okay,
Don.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a good
Thank
idea
you.
to think about.
Thank you.